Lately, I've been hearing from several seasoned bodybuilders about why they're stepping away from the competitive stage, sometimes for good. I've heard about them and spoke with some of them through Discord and YouTube. And I'm talking professional enhanced athletes here who have spent years, even decades, chasing perfection under the stage lights. But now they're rethinking whether it's all worth it. The reasons are complex, encompassing everything from the mental and physical toll of competition prep to the often overlooked burdens of the sports pageantry, quote unquote. Interestingly, these very issues highlight why natural bodybuilding, which sidesteps many of these pitfalls, is becoming an increasingly attractive option for some. The common first point that they mentioned was the immense cost, and it's more than just financial. One of the main reasons bodybuilders are walking away from the competitive scene is the staggering cost of staying in the game, costs that go far just beyond money. Competing at a high level demands an all-consuming commitment. The grueling hours in the gym, the razor-sharp dieting, and often the cocktail of performance-enhancing drugs that push the body to the limits. But the real price isn't just paid in dollars or time, it's the toll it takes on your mental and physical health. Take, for example, the mental strain of balancing heavy steroid use with everyday life. One pro bodybuilder mentioned how he had to increase his trenbolone dosage right before a show, going from 100 milligrams a week to 175 milligrams, just to chase that perfect peak. The result, his cortisol levels spiked, his mental state deteriorated, and he became someone even he didn't want to be around. The aggression and irritability that came with the high doses of gear made it impossible to function normally, especially when he had to cut back on other therapeutic outlets like jiu-jitsu, which normally helped him manage the mental side effects of heavy steroid use. And it's not just the mental strain, the physical costs are equally brutal. As these athletes push beyond their limits to the extreme, the risk of long-term damage looms large. These aren't just short-term sacrifices, they're decisions that could affect their health for years to come. In contrast, natural bodybuilding avoids many of these extreme stresses. Without the reliance on performance-enhancing drugs, athletes don't have to battle the same level of mental and physical side effects. Another point that we touched on was the unbearable burden of bodybuilding's pageantry. Another major reason for stepping away is what many describe as the pageantry of competitive bodybuilding. This goes beyond the gym. It's about the meticulous attention to every detail of how you present yourself on stage. So, we're talking the perfect tan, flawless posing, and even the right skincare routine. For many, this part of the sport is not just a nuisance, it's a major source of stress and dissatisfaction. And remember, these are a lot of issues that can be sidestepped by natural bodybuilding because skincare routine is often a problem if you are on boatloads of gear. One bodybuilder detailed how the seemingly small impacts of a competition prep, like getting the perfect tan, ended up being the most frustrating. Despite paying a professional tanning service, he found himself under-tanned on stage, looking almost pale under the lights. And this wasn't just an aesthetic issue, it cost him his placement in the competition. He admitted that while tanning, the company didn't deliver as expected. The real fault lay with him for not taking the tanning process into his own hands and for not paying attention to those crucial details. And then there's the posing, an art form in itself. Competing successfully requires hours of practice with a posing coach, meticulous attention to how you present your physique from every angle. Now, I know this isn't just exclusive to enhanced bodybuilding. Of course, this applies to natural bodybuilding, but the pure topic of this video is why athletes are stepping away from it, I should add. And the purpose of this video is to pay attention to the nitty-gritty of just what you might be getting yourself into. This isn't an aesthetics bra lifestyle like a lot of people try to glamorize it as. But for some, this is just part of what they dread most. They've spent years building muscle, not mastering the nuances of stage presentation. And for them, this stage feels more like a beauty pageant than a test of physical prowess, I suppose, which can be incredibly demotivating. Natural bodybuilding tends to downplay this pageantry aspect. I've seen this particularly break through in female bodybuilding, where we have divisions like wellness and bikini, all these, and fitness, of course, all of these remarkable, specific, niche categories of bodybuilding. But with men, it's just either beach shorts, classic, or open. And the other thing I want to touch on is the shifting priorities and the long-term health reality. For many pros, stepping away from the stage is almost about shifting life priorities. Look, as they get older or hit a certain career milestone, the desire to continue pushing their bodies to the limit wanes. The reality of what it takes to stay competitive, especially the heavy drug use, starts to conflict with long-term health goals. One guy I spoke with, or was it? No, apologies, it was a lady I spoke with, put it bluntly, as much as she loves the sport, she can't ignore the long-term consequences of continuing down this path. She's already feeling the effects of years of heavy steroid use, both physically and mentally, and knows that if she keeps going, those effects could become permanent. Drug use is known to lower your IQ in the short and long run. This is beyond what some people think when we talk about the mental aspects of steroid use. It isn't just aggression, irritability, sleepless nights, all that bullshit. It's serious long-term stuff. The physical stress of constant bulking and cutting cycles, combined with the mental strain of living in a drug-fueled fog, as some describe it as, has led her to reassess what she really wants out of life. In natural bodybuilding, the emphasis on long-term health and sustainability offers a stark contrast, although of course I do appreciate that at the professional competitive level, there is no such thing as a healthy sport. So I just wanted to share a couple of stories that I've had while chatting through Discord and YouTube. The stories I've heard from these pros paint a pretty vivid picture of the challenges facing competitive bodybuilders today. From the enormous financial, mental, and physical costs to the burdens of bodybuilding's pageantry, it's clear why so many are choosing to step away. Of course, these challenges also highlight the appeal of natural bodybuilding, which offers a healthier, more balanced alternative. In natural bodybuilding, the focus is on sustainable growth, long-term health, and the pure love of the sport. If you're on stage, you're there because of, shall we say, camaraderie. You want the title, but you're not there maybe to make a notorious name for yourself. This is why so many people can name the top enhanced open bodybuilders in the world, and of course the top in their country or maybe even state. But the natural ones, that most people can't name one unless you're really, really, really super deep into bodybuilding and natural bodybuilding specifically. It is an exceptionally niche sport still. It's a shame for me to say that enhanced is not only more popular, but almost at this point more widely acceptable than natural bodybuilding, because I get the impression from enhanced athletes and people who were once natural and felt the pressure to go enhanced, they saw natural as a inferior sport, one that shouldn't be taken seriously. And it's like, oh, you're not serious about it if you're not on gear. I completely disagree with that. And I think that, especially with today's understanding of training and training science, I think we're only just skimming the surface on what is possible naturally, especially as so many guys at the top didn't even start training until their mid to late 20s. If people started training earlier with a lot of the research that we now have, I can see young men starting to train earlier with a proper coach, proper posing practice, with higher volumes, by the way, using techniques and exercises which are most conducive to them to getting the most growth. I think that natural bodybuilding should definitely not only make a comeback, but we should definitely excel in it. And this is something that I'm really gravitating towards, especially as I will never compete in enhanced bodybuilding. So Let me know what you guys think of not only the stories that I've shared, but my takes on these stories. I'd love to hear your feedback and opinions. For those who are passionate about bodybuilding, just be wary of the costs, because natural bodybuilding offers a path that's not only achievable, but deeply rewarding.